So gold is up about 0.5%, not too shabby. And there is Jack Carter, the master of the wheel.
How's it going, Blake?
Man, it's going pretty good. The wife is over. She's gone this morning. She's at great grandma's house. So I got the house to myself. It's kind of
Cool.
nice.
Are you running around in your underwear like Tom Cruise in what was that movie he was when he was home alone? He just went crazy. Eating hot pockets and
As fun as that sounds, I am not.
playing video games.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing some. I was thinking about trading some this morning, and just kind of I don't know, nothing really stuck out to me. I saw oil was up a lot, but I there's just all this news, Jack. It's sometimes hard to keep up with everything. I need a little break.
That's it. It's become exhausting and so inaccurate, you know.
I know. You read one thing and the market doesn't even react to it. It's like, what's going on? Then I got Swish over here telling me the interest rates are going up.
Yeah.
I didn't know they made that decision today.
Risky Business was the movie where Tom Hanks was home alone and running around in his underwear. So if you want
Oh,
that,
okay. Okay. I thought they were saying it was risky business trading this morning. I was like, well,
no,
yeah.
no, that was the name of the movie, Bob T and Dave T. Thank you.
Yes. Good call.
Yeah.
Well, I got us live on YouTube. I got everything set up. I
Sounds
rocked it all out this morning for you guys. So,
Speaking of news, Blake and Jeffrey, I read a really serious article about how Iran is going to go back to a total ceasefire as long as we give them some SpaceX IPO.
hey,
Came from a credible source. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Elon to save the day, right?
Elon to save the day.
Yeah.
Man, wouldn't that just be crazy? Nice SpaceX IPO. Just be like, here, Iran.
That would be crazy. How about that article from Citron Research? Did you see that?
I don't, I don't read hardly anything.
That's not a bad read. You guys got to read this one. See if you can find this if you look it up, Blake. Citron Research agent or analyst number three. They said, hey, uh, they were sitting around. This is a research. I think it's a short selling firm, Citron Research or Citrini Research or some shit like that. Anyway, they at a board meeting and the guy says, well, what about if I just went to the Strait of Hormuz? So he went over there with a box of Cuban cigars, a bunch of these things called Zyn. I don't know what this is, a nicotine patch, and 15 grand. That's it. Got arrested, thrown in jail, let out of jail. This ought to be a great movie. It's probably not true at all, but he says everything is fine over there. He found a guy that would take him out in the Strait of Hormuz. It's a good read. You got to read it. So I think everything is, despite what you read in the media, this is what I'm saying, mainstream media, who knows? This guy actually went over there or he didn't, but it's a good read either way.
I'll have to check it out. I'm on their website right now. I know Jeffrey's got the disclaimer up. He's ready to protect us, but
You see it?
um,
Article I'm talking about?
I'm looking right now. So
Agent number or analyst number three, if you just Google that in Citrini or Citron or something like that,
yeah,
analyst number three. Guy goes over the Strait of Hormuz. Good read.
Citron Research
Citrini.
and
Cit-
Citrini goes
Citrini,
to.
analyst number three. It's all over the place.
Let me see.
If I can
Oh,
find,
yeah. Strait of Hormuz, a Citrini
yeah,
field trip.
yeah.
There it
If you
is.
share that link, that's a good read for everybody for later, not right now, but and even for you, Jeffrey. This is like an adventure journalist.
Let me see if my OpenClaw bot can get it.
Oh, OpenClaw. Definitely be able to find it. I got it though.
Reason I don't believe this is short selling firms are notorious for making stuff up so that people pile onto the short that they already have. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is like unverified, but good writing.
Let's see. And while we've been talking, the SPY has just taken off.
Well, I saw NASDAQ got a little strong right before the show.
Yeah. Red
And
Dead Redemption, man.
I had a unique opportunity to. Have we done the disclaimer?
No.
No.
All trading involves a substantial risk of loss, past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to buy anything. Stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, crypto, treasuries. Your mileage may vary. Be careful. You probably lose money. All right.
You'll probably lose.
You probably lose money.
I mean, the odds are against everybody. Like 95% of traders lose money. So, I mean,
They
like,
are stacked. It is stacked the other way, that's for certain.
I mean, if you're naive about it, you're probably going to lose money. It's, this is not like rocket surgery here.
No. Rocket surgery, brain science. It's hard. A lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work.
I got lucky today, man.
Rocket science is pretty figured out. So rocket surgery is where it's difficult.
Now I want to ask you about this. Do you ever look at the cash and how much you're out, how much cash you're using to secure puts and your buying power? I was looking at that, I'll tell you, and I got put 500 shares of IWM at 258. And two times I sold the 259 strike calls. And today I was able to buy them back and then sell IWM, the 500 shares, for more than I paid. And that freed up a ton of capital. Do you ever look at that? How much capital you need or want to free up or have free
Yeah,
up?
I mean, I do occasionally, and that's why doing this sometimes in a margin account works well. But you don't want to like start operating the whole thing on margin. It's like a fine line to dance. And you can free it up and move it to other opportunities, especially if you don't think that what you got is going to make big moves.
Mhm.
But
Well,
I don't want to close it for a loss either, though. So sometimes you
no,
just have to work it out.
that's what I did with IWM. I rode the shares down right after I got them put to me. Went down, down, down. But I
But that
kept
thing has huge premium available. So
every day too. That's the craziest part. So that was going to expire today at 260, or the 259, and the stock was at around 260, 259. So I just bought the options back, sold the stock, freed up whatever 500 times 259 is.
yeah,
I can't
I'm
do that mental math, but that's a lot of cash.
500 times 259. That's 25,000 and
Yeah,
125,000 basically.
yeah.
There you go.
Mike is saying it's easy, too easy to get into the margin on Schwab, always confusing me. Yeah, the thing I don't like about it, and I don't know if I'm going to change this or not, but this portfolio margin is a pain in the ass to manage if you only want to use cash to secure the puts and don't want to do every one on margin. You know how yours on VRT says you can make the same premium with only 4,400 bucks if you use margin, right?
Yeah.
But if you get
It-
too deep into it,
That's what these capital requirements right here help me keep track of it. And then this broker
what's
also
the first
has,
capital requirement?
can you see it on my screen right here? It says cap requirement per position.
I think I'm looking at your face and Dirk's face. Hold on. Okay, where is it?
Up on that top tab,
Oh yeah, I see
Jeffrey's
it.
screen.
That's where your faces were. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
click the other thing.
I don't think I have that on Schwab.
I
Think
don't
this,
know. Like I like this platform because it does show me this kind of thing. And
how
it's,
much you need.
how much I need. Now, some positions like Netflix there has no CapEx requirement. And then, because there's no spread or anything like that. Yeah, I did a QQQ couple puts on this pop. They're underwater, but no CapEx requirement there. But some things that have like spreads in them or let's see, that VRT had like a $7,000. No, that's TSLL has a $7,000 requirement. When I have shares of some stuff like SoundHound, got shares, even though the shares are 500 shares at $1,000, it should be $5,000. They're only requiring $1,500.
Yeah, so that's messing up my whole thing right there. Like on the VRT, I sell those. They don't hold any cash hardly at all. Like
Yeah,
20%.
and part of the place you can find part of the place where Tasty shows you this is right in here. It's the difference between your cash, your settled cash, your effective buying power, and I just read that as effective buying power because crypto and options are all the same, basically. And the starting day trade buying power, maintenance excess, and when it says maintenance excess, that means it's your your cash minus the capital requirement. You can see that the value of the account is actually 66,000 there. So then they give you these other like option buying power. That's usually how much cash you got available
Yeah,
because they won't let you usually they won't let you
that's exactly what I've been using.
go
This,
too far in the margin. Now the stock buying power, that's where you get the this capital requirement. And you can get into margin really quick if you try to go. And then you're paying, they want you to pay per day. Think about it. It's not in their best interest to make this easy for you to figure out because they want you to have to pay the interest every day to them. It's one of their money making schemes.
so you think about it like the portfolio margin, it should be a good thing if they're giving you tons more margin than regular margin. But you're going to be owing them. That's exactly right. What you said. They're going to, you're using it every time because they're not using much of your cash. So
And the whole thing is like you got to think about it. Like if you're going to use margin, you've got to use it to your advantage. And that's where I use the beer money trade. I know this is like some of this is marginable. And in my Robinhood account, it's all margin money that I use every day. And it's, dangerous, yes, if I take a big loss. But if you're doing a relatively safe trade, you know, I learned the lesson here. I shouldn't have been doing that dangerous when using my portfolio margin. But, it didn't put me in the negative. I didn't go negative. So still using profit. And you just got to use it smart. Now, one of the reasons I do this daily and 0-day trades and trades that expire right at the close is because I am using that margin specifically in this account, in this Robinhood account. I'm using the portfolio margin, and as soon as the bell rings, it frees that margin back up. And it never incurs interest because I never hold it overnight.
that's a very smart use of margin.
And basically, I'm double dipping. I'm using the margin power while the market's open, and then it's freed up immediately when the market closes.
None of your own
And
money. Yep.
and as long as I'm doing what I've been doing for a long time, everything's great. If I try to get a little squirrely and bend the rules, there's consequences. So
And another
uh,
good use of margin is when you have a high conviction trade that you want to hold, and while it trends up, it's trending up more than the rate of margin. That's a
yeah,
good with NVIDIA and AVGO. Um, and I wouldn't do it again, and I stopped doing it when they both went sideways. But
yeah, that's the thing. If it's
well,
not getting capital appreciation, then you're not actually benefiting.
not
So
benefiting. If you want to be able to buy more than you can afford, and they're going to let you do that with margin, and you got a great trade. I loaded up 7,000 shares of NVIDIA at one point, biggest trade I've ever done in my life on one stock, and I used margin, and I just went super aggressive. But like I say, it's not for everybody, and I think it's an isolated incident when you want to use it either on a stock is going to go up more than the rate of margin, or you can use theirs in a cash efficient way like Jeffrey is.
there are different ways to skin the cat, everybody.
Yeah. Different with margin though. I mean, you end up owing them, you look at your bill.
Yeah,
That was
that's the dangerous part, right? I mean, that is the dangerous part is because that you can get a margin bill and it eats away at your bottom line.
Mine was 70,000 in margin interest, which I deduct, but hell, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially if your stock's going sideways and you're
Yeah, that's
paying.
when I quit. When Mrs. Jack does the book. She showed me that. I'm like, I put the brakes on that.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
work
like,
anymore.
yeah, the interest, that's one thing. I did borrow. This goes back to I borrowed this money to start with, and people are like, "Well, you're never supposed to borrow money to trade with." That's I say that all the time too. But if you're very confident in what you're doing, which I am, you're very careful about taking losses, which I was up until this stupidness. You can borrow money to trade with and push and even compound with the margin if you play smartly. Now, if you don't have any experience, I have years of experience doing this. I did a trial for 4 months before I even started before I borrowed the money to do this. And it's one of those things I had to prove it to myself. I had to prove it that I could do it. I had to prove that I could do it consistently. I had to prove that I could scale, which is what this is scaling. And I had to prove that, you know, I'm committed to doing it. Patience, discipline. The number one thing I see holding traders back, holding everybody back from being successful at this game is the psychology of this. It's the number one thing, Jack. I don't know if you want to disagree. I think the number one thing is the psychology of this. Everybody wants to be rich quick. Even if you say you don't, subconsciously we all do.
And they want to give up too, and they do give up too quick.
And then you give up too quick when it gets hard. I
That's
mean, it's all the psychology. The psychology is the hardest single point in being successful for trading. And it's probably the thing holding you back one way or another.
that's it. That's the number one thing. You got to be stubborn to the point of being unrealistic, and you got to be persistent, which you have been. You know,
Yep. I try to be dang persistent and try to get money put in this account every single day. And, sometimes it doesn't work. Like sometimes I mess it up, especially
like
especially when I get full of myself. But,
after right after I lost all my money working with Dean Witter for Dean Witter, go before Christmas, I thought I was going to go home a big shot, and I went home broke and humiliated, and then got fired that following April. And my manager at Dean Witter told me, Jack, don't ever do anything involving finance. Having lost my money buying calls, all of it, taking the bus home instead of flying home, and getting fired within like from December, losing the money to fired in April. I was still not going to quit.
but see, I don't just do this in one account like either. Like there's another account. Same kind of consistent profits right there. How do you do it? You got to find something that works for you and do it over and over and over. It's boring as shit.
Yeah,
I mean, doing the same thing every day is boring. It's frustrating for a lot of people.
got to show up. That's 90% of the success is just showing up.
You,
That's what
you,
they'll tell you in any
you got
boxing coach will tell you that. Just
you
show
got
up.
to show up, have patience, have discipline, do the same things. Don't get creative. Don't try to do a bunch of new fancy crap to push harder, push faster. There are I know certain times when I can push a little harder, like when I did the VRT and I got 50% profit overnight and I booked it. Like that was I pushed a little harder. It worked out in my favor. I booked the money. Now I wait for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
But these don't show up every day. So I didn't just jump right back into a new VRT yesterday, even though it's probably going to pop out and go higher. Maybe I missed it. But I made the money. I made some money. I made more money than on a single put than I've ever made on a single put before. So hard to say I did it wrong.
I got fired from Dean Witter for we were on a quarterly commission basis, uh, and just selling mutual funds and over the phone, and I didn't produce enough commissions in the fourth quarter and got fired. 2 quarters in a row of that, and you're out. So it turned out to be one of the biggest blessings in disguise, like Mike L says. I went from the lowest to the highest. One door closed and an even better one opened. And what opened up was, oddly enough, a guy in a brokerage firm needed an assistant because they were growing, and all you needed to have that job was a Series 7 license, which I had. I didn't know shit about making a market. I got that job and really took off. And the head trader, went and took another job, and I got his job. 27 years old. Uh, Man, that was. Phew. I went from like tears and self-loathing from getting fired to, within a year, best time of my life.
And that was when you're a market maker?
Yeah, yeah. The retail broker thing was hard, man, at Dean Witter. Plus, me and this other guy were trying to trade all the time. We were getting yelled at all day long, for not making 300 cold calls on the phone and stuff like that. I just wanted to trade, so we bought those calls. I think I told you, lost. We were so sure of it that I pawned off some stuff to put the money down on that trade. So right there, I lost money that I could not afford to lose. Right,
Yep.
broke every rule in the book, and yeah, but holy mackerel, if I didn't, that was the best thing, getting fired. I'll tell you. Now I can say it and laugh, but back
At the
then.
time, it was not, but you know.
But the other thing is, it motivated me. I was going to make it no matter what, in my mind, in the market. So you got to be persistent, which is what you were talking about. Why people fail. Not to get sidetracked with that crazy.
No, I mean that's it ties both of our stories back together. We came at it from two totally different worlds, two totally different places. We're both convinced that we're gonna make it in this industry. And I didn't know how I was gonna get where I am. But I knew I was gonna, beat this market.
Persistence. That's what you were saying. Stubborn persistence.
And it's patience, discipline, personal accountability, persistence to want this to work. If you're somebody that gives up when the going gets tough and you'd rather go do something else that doesn't make you sweat or doesn't make you work or doesn't, you're probably not going to make it. You're probably not going to, this thing's probably going to beat you. Just straight up and honest with everybody.
Yep.
Hopefully this is helping everybody in the chat. Let us
But
know.
but the other thing is, the stock market is willing to make you as wealthy as you want to be.
Yeah. That's, I know of nothing else where the sky is so unlimited out there.
There isn't. If there was, I'd be doing it. I've done a lot, and this is it where it's at.
I mean, look at this. You got people being absolute degenerates out there betting on what Trump's going to say next and placing these $1 million bets right in the front of everybody and just making absolute killings. That kind of opportunity is out there every day. Every day.
More so now than ever. It's like the Wild West out there. You don't know what's news, what's rumor, what's war, what's rumor of war, what's a ceasefire. I don't think there ever was a ceasefire.
Yeah,
Why did they said a ceasefire? I think they just kept going. Uh,
yeah, I don't know that there was any ceasefire yesterday. I like all day I was seeing videos of crap getting blown up and pipelines and buildings and Israel going live on social media saying that the ceasefire didn't apply to them. And I mean,
I saw, I thought it was a joke when I saw that Trump said the whole civilization would be wiped out. I thought that was somebody exaggerating. He would never say that. And you know what I mean? And then I look at he says it and I'm like, geez, man, this thing is getting out of bounds over here.
he was talking about short sellers. You just didn't understand. Talking about all the short sellers here.
And I
Got-
think he used the word Stone Age.
They got blown out.
Back to Stone Age.
All these short sellers that got blown out on the gap up here yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, but like you said, I think you phrased it better than I've heard in a long time. It was like a balloon held underwater,
Yeah, that's really what it is. Uh,
ripped.
the market gets this, like, we just down. I mean, look at this. It was relentless. Like from right here back in January. Right there is where we kind of topped out here in January. It was just down, barely up, down, barely up. Every time we got any little anything, more down, 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 negative
Lower
news,
high.
negative.
Lower
Yeah,
highs.
yeah, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And we just got to a point where we had just been down so long. It's like, the market gets fatigued holding it down and we just let it go. And it's like a beach ball that you're trying to hold underwater and it just pops and it pops big, but it's not all clear. You know,
Yeah,
you get to a point and then you notice there's no continuation here. To me, that's a dangerous sign that we can take this right back down again.
this is
It's
not what'd the guy say? He said durable floor or something like that.
yeah, durable low. Yeah.
Durable low, yeah. So these two candles right here, I don't use candles, but those last two up there, that's not gonna hold.
Yeah.
Those,
The only thing that would make me feel a little better about those two candles is if they were a little fatter. And
what
then they look like twin towers, and twin towers tend to fall.
what's a fatter candle mean?
Just
Fatter,
taller.
fatter, taller, yeah.
Yeah. I
Taller candles fall.
I don't speak candle language very well. I have my own terminology I've made up, so,
I
just from
just, you
watching
know,
price action.
just think about it like this. Like this was for Japanese, use these for trading rice or something. If it worked, they'd be the best traders in the world. I just think I can't even spell Fibonacci, but same thing, if
Yeah, I ran statistics on I think it was 42 candlestick patterns from the Japanese whatever, and for 24 years in the market, 42 candlestick patterns. This thing took like 2 weeks to run in the back test, and there was one pattern that had slightly better than a 50-50 edge, and it wasn't the profit factor was negative, so it wasn't tradable. And so basically, candlesticks don't actually work.
Mm,
And short term they can point out reversals and stuff like that. Like there's certain things I look for, but they're not consistently tradable. Like it's not something you can consistently rely on. It's just like news in the market. It's we love so I don't watch candlestick patterns necessarily. I watch price patterns.
can you
It's,
change that to bars?
I mean, yeah, we can change it to anything you want to. I mean,
Can
it,
you make the bars color coded?
I mean, this thing does anything we want. Oh, what kind of color code do you want?
Well, let me see. Hold on a second. If it has a higher daily high and a higher daily low, make it a light blue.
Let's see. We might have to load an indicator for that. Let's see.
And
Color bars based on previous close.
higher high and higher low is blue.
Yeah, I've only got up and down on this
All right,
with
let me
with the current, and you can make thick bars. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
let me
The
see if
trending bars.
let me see if I can bring it up here.
It's probably bar chart has it.
No, I got something way better than that.
Mm-mm-mm.
You might even like this. I know I do. Okay. All right. Let me share the screen.
I've watched the red green bars so long that it just I can see price action in there.
Yeah. So can you see this?
Yeah, looks a little bit like an Easter egg hunt.
Well, this a higher daily high is blue. Um,
Hmm.
a lower daily low and a lower daily high is pink, and a yellow is neither. But this shows you, we were talking about the secret life of stocks, how a stock will go 3 to 5 days in one direction and then
Yeah,
correct, move again. So I can see that real good in here. And this is what I see when I see SPY. I don't think that's going to hold. If it holds, it'll hold right on that light blue line. And then when I look at DIA, and this is what I look at to decide, do I want to do a market driven approach or with which strategy? But it's always got to be market driven. So, these are above all three trend points, but they're definitely not bearish because it just popped up. And then the last one I look at is QQQ, SPY, QQQ, and DIA.
And the cues to me are screaming danger.
All of it is. Anything that's gapped up like that, that's not sustainable, especially after it being a news-driven event and not just a result of natural market movement. It's kind of like, these news moves are not good, are not solid, are not durable, as the guy said.
Yeah. Well, let me share my screen back. Try to click the right buttons. Buttons. Who's got the buttons? Now, with this gap right here that we just did, let me turn these off. Turn everything off here. You see this gap we did right here off of this low? It shows up like right here. Look at that drop. We gap back up, couple green days, and then we're right back down lower low. I think this is just a bigger example of this right here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that same kind of price action right there. Like if I made the candles bigger, look at that drop, popped up, couple days, churning in here, and then right back down at the lows. I've seen this enough times. I have this feeling like that's about what we're gonna see.
Mm-hmm. So you got the Q going lower to
So my kind of prediction here, based on where we bounced to, the way I run this, you would run from this point to this point to this, whatever the high is today or tomorrow. And then that projects us a move down. I got to turn off this magnet thing. It's going to drive me crazy. Copy it, paste it, and another move down.
of the same magnitude.
Sets us up. Yeah, same size. That's what I was talking about yesterday on the show. Same size move. We tend to get these copies of moves in the market. And sometimes it'll go a little extra. So that would be the target zone right in there. Somewhere from 540 down to about 500. Because we could come up a little shy. Lower low is all that it really needs to do. And that's not a requirement, but that's what it. So lower than 560 that we were. Ideal spot, 500 to 540 on Qs. And that's what price action wise makes sense to me right now. Oh, I gotta take some action here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, take some action, man. This market's just straight vertical right now. It's like heaven on earth.
I got to see about a.
Yeah, check your positions if you have any open like calls on the SPY. I've just been watching it.
Let's see where maybe it already closed out. Oh, unclick. SCHW in the money. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Not showing the profit. Cool. Let's let that one cook. Obviously, the options didn't catch up to the price action there. So this was a 30-minute trade right here. This is an Apollo system trade. It picked up this pattern right here. Here was the high. Here's the low. Roadmap line. Above the roadmap line, below the roadmap line. Activated the entry right here on the 1st of April. April Fools. Target 75% likely, 97.59. And the alert was that we're coming right into it right there. In my position, I played it with a debit spread. So I don't want the calls. Look how ridiculous these calls were. 369 when I got in. That was 265 right there. Sure, I could have made money, but I wasn't very confident in it. I would, instead I spent roughly $1.17 getting into, or I mean $1.04, excuse me, $1.04 getting into it. And I was trying to make 50 cents, about 50% roughly. Now, the problem is time-wise, I got 2 weeks left on these options, and they're not responding the way they should. So we'll see what happens. Well in the money. I went to Schwab because we talked about it. Banks relatively in a solid position. We're caught up on bank earnings
That was
next week.
and
That was what?
Schwab was one of Kraken's picks.
Yeah. Well, this was an Apollo pick also, right there, and that was just a 30-minute roadmap bounce. Apollo fired off the entry right there. I can go to a different chart and actually show it. CHW. Turn on the Apollo, 30 minutes. And it hadn't actually triggered the exit yet. It's about to. But here's the entry right there. Right there on the first. And then coming up on the exit. Any moment now.
Amazon trading at the high of the day now.
Yeah, Amazon looks pretty strong, so.
Do you still have the AMZU?
Yeah, I do actually still have AMZU.
Ooh,
Let me see if I can find it.
I haven't done anything with it options wise. I'm just holding it.
Yeah, see, I have AMZU right there. 2 positions.
Yeah, it's kicking it. It's the highest, up the most on my screen.
Right there. That's a supercharged alert right there. Supercharged ticker. It's a leveraged ticker. It takes advantage of Amazon.
You ever do anything with Lamb, LRCX?
I, it's just such a high flyer. I don't play. I have a hard time playing a lot of the higher flyers. If Amazon gets above 234, we're probably coming back to the prior high. If not, expanding on out to 267. Excuse me. Golly.
Now I gotta show you something crazy.
AMZU should bring back up into the 40 area. And my limit is 44 right now to take profit on my position. Right up in there.
Pull this one up. MTZ.
Boom, 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 boom.
Zoom out
Aztec.
a little bit. And this is like up and to the right city. I mean, maybe zoom in a little bit.
I was gonna say that's like up and exponential.
Yeah, there, like right there. That's perfect.
That's getting an awful big gap.
I couldn't do it yesterday. It was a massive gap, and today it's what I call the loft, as you say. I say whatever.
Yeah, you say
Yesterday,
loft, I say that's a big distance.
do it yesterday at any price. I don't want to do a cash secured put on this. I was looking. This came up on my buy and hold list um, with FL Fluor. But look at that, man. That's how long has it been going up and to the right? Long
That's
time.
uh
Long time.
that's back since December. We basically, if you look at the last reasonable pullback here in February, so we got March, April, 2 months of relentless higher, barely a red candle, and then gapping away from the trend points.
Yeah, it's too lofty for me now, but what a hell of a trend. That's
You
a
know, that's what happens when you get lofty. It like comes back down.
back down. The volatility goes out of it. This company builds data centers, really does the building, not like companies say, I'm going to build a data center. These guys actually build it, swing and
Yeah,
hammer. FL is another one I looked at, but didn't look. That's not Fluor. That's Foot Locker. FLR maybe?
lure.
Fluor? Yeah.
That's a bunch of choppy sideways.
No.
That's a little bit of a dangerous pattern, actually. Right there, that lower highs, higher lows. That's unreliable price action.
Got the watermelon squeeze seed.
Yeah, watermelon seed squeeze. Yeah, Because when it pops out of that kind of consolidation,
Damn.
you don't know if it's going higher or lower. That's the problem.
But it's going, is what you're saying.
It's probably going to make a move, and the move when it does it is probably going to be about this big from about this. It's about that much move, and it could be a move up that big, or the dangerous thing could be a move down about that big, and that presents a giant range. 14 to 82, and we're at 50 right now. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Tim's question is yesterday my wheel, I had an aha moment on adjusting my strikes uh, to try to keep my stock. I lose the stock if market is $3 over my strike or 15 over, no extra impact to me, right? Yeah, exactly right. So that's what I did with IWM. I got it put to me at 258. I wrote calls against it like at 259, and I got called out at 259. That was a buck over my assignment price, but I made all that premium and $1 on the call out. So just, yeah, just keep taking the profit. I'm more and more and more with this market. I prefer to get back into cash, which is why I covered the IWM buy to close on the options and sold the stock. Just load up more cash and get it off the secured side for now.
You know how you can't lose on that position?
On which
It's
one?
this one. When it's cashed out in cash in your account, you got no more shares, no more options, all in profit, all in cash. You got no risk. Can't lose on that trade.
But that's no trade. Ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Cash is safe in the cash account, but that's not what it's for in here.
So you go deploy it to new opportunity.
What I'm gonna do, that's what I'm looking for. All night, well, not all night, but it was too cold too rainy to be out in the Gulf, so I was back doing some research and I was looking at MTZ. I think AEC was another one, but what a disaster that thing is. ACOM, AEC? No. ACM, I don't know what it was. AECOM, I think was the name of the company. Yeah, AC, this is look at this thing.
That's a dangerous chart.
What happened there? Yeah.
That's a that's the opposite of a watermelon seed squeeze. It's got
Yeah, they had these companies listed by how much power they've already produced, proven to have put in action, right? Responsible for X amount of gigawatts or whatever of production. And I don't know what happened here. These guys were written up on the analyst side, fundamental research side as being a good company, but technical side says something else. Big difference of opinion there.
something
I
happened
don't
there.
know what they're talking about good for a company. That is not a sign of a good company.
They must have lost a contract.
Or a bunch of them. That gap down and nowhere near trying to fill it. Well, not really a gap down, just a big trade, 2 days, 3 days
Let's
down.
see. It's not like they lose money or anything.
Yeah, well, they're competing with MTZ, and you look at MTZ chart, and you look at this chart, it's clearly there's a winner in this game, and it isn't these guys.
Yeah,
Now, this is partly why I look at Vert. Uh,
28 billion.
I don't
28
want
billion.
to
Woo.
the Vert story, but I think they're going to have amazing. Look at this. Something's not right with this thing.
Well, MTZ is 3 times bigger company, basically. Yes.
And the other one was J.
Jacobs Engineering and Jacobs Solutions.
What's Jacobs Engineering?
Yeah, it was Jacobs Engineering. It's
Some
just
thing, Scansborg, SDA or something like that. Sterling Infrastructure was the other one, STRL. What do you think of Sterling?
mm,
I didn't buy any of them. I like to, I'm trying to find a way in, but I'm not going to do it if they're up 4% every day. You know,
That one's smaller one.
all these guys are, they're talking about spending money, right? Everybody reads about everybody's building data centers. Well, these are the cats that are going to be on the receiving end cashing the checks, but nobody talks about these guys. I don't hear anything about the guys pouring the cement and laying the wire and doing I call it boots on the ground, the real construction, hammer swinging, not just the engineering, but putting it in.
Well,
Ton
they
of
make
money.
the money. They make the money now, but it's not necessarily going to be long term.
No, unless there's maintenance in it, and that's where some of these guys want to get a vertical stack going, where they not only build it, but they maintain it, and they stack it up, they bring in their tech and they replace it and upgrade it and become the manager of the property. So much opportunity. I was talking to my buddy's kid, and he doesn't know if he wants to go to college or military or whatever, and he likes electronics and electrician stuff. And I was telling him, you can be as successful in electrician. You don't have to go to college. You can be just as successful being an electrician or a plumber even these days as you could doing anything from college. You know, it's
Yeah.
not the advantage it used to be. These trades are great to get into. I joke about the guy in Colorado that I think it's not called Charlie's Plumbing, but it's something like that. And the guy that delivers my motorcycle back and forth, he delivered a Lamborghini to this guy Charlie from Charlie's Plumbing. And I thought, just it's crazy how much that guy's business has grown as the Aspen Valley has grown. He's charging everybody out the wazoo. What are you going to do, right? Now the blue collar guy's got the Lambo too. I love it.
Let's see. I'm trying to get the. I was asking the one of my AIs if it can come up with the top 10 engineering construction companies that are public. So it says. Mm, mm, mm. This is interesting. PWR.
Yeah, that was the other one on my list. Yeah, PWR. But it looked a little too lofty too. That was the other one. Yep.
It's kind of gap up and run high. I mean, that looks a lot like the VRT chart right there.
Yeah,
And then Fix is number 2.
that wasn't in my,
Wow.
that's heating and air conditioning.
Oh, that's engineering construction. Industrial services. 55 billion. Another one is FER. And this may not be data center stuff, but this is engineering construction companies.
Well, they're all good probably, but I like the data center stuff because it's funded and they got the money for it and they can charge unbelievable margins building it. And it's long-term stuff.
That one's got a nice pattern going up to 76 to 78.
What do these guys do?
Same business, engineering construction.
But that's a little broad. I'd like to know what kind of engineering.
These are the public construction companies. EME, another one, Imacor, engineering construction.
On the list.
And then
I'm
MTZ,
looking at prices, MTZ, EME, and I'm thinking, that's two
APG.
maximum.
Here's
So
another,
too much.
here's another one. Beta right at 1. And Jacobs Solutions, Sterling Infrastructure.
Yeah, take a look at Sterl. What do you think of Sterl?
I'm 491 potential. Missed the roadmap bounce there. And then DY is another one. right there. Potential to go up to 462. All these high flyers, and then ACOM is the last one, top 10 there. But those, those are all the top 10 ones are all doing pretty good. Let me ask if they all, let's see, all of these companies benefit from infrastructure spending, energy transition, data centers, utility upgrading. They all have buy or strong buy ratings due to backlog and growth of tailwind in the sector. Other strong players outside of the top 10. FLR was in there. BLD is in here. And I don't know that I like that chart though. It's kind of like, what's wrong with that chart compared to the other ones?
Mm.
Let's see, STN, Santec. It's like, what's wrong with that chart? That could be near a bottom though. It did backtest this consolidation. Santec does a lot of utility construction stuff. Actually, have worked on projects they work on. Santec.
Speaking of utilities, is there a better one than AEP?
Prim. Hold on, before we before we jump subjects here, let me just finish the rest of the list here. Another nice one there, 181 on Prim. Look at that beta close to 2. That could be a nice one.
Yeah, I'll write that one down.
Let's see. Let me see if that one has options even. Prim. Yeah, we got monthlies.
No weeklies.
No weeklies. Bummer. All right. And floor and KBR. Stuff I never even look at. That chart sucks. Not touching that one. All right. You said AEP, American Electric Power.
Why would I like that?
Up and to the right, baby.
Is there a better utility company in terms of yield, price action?
I have no idea. I don't play in utilities that much, so. I mean, look at Duke though, up and to the right.
Yeah. They've been good, man. Good yields, good price appreciation. I like this one, but I like AEP the best. And I've been looking at SO.
SO? SU? S.
Southern Company?
You said SO.
Thought that was SO.
SO. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It just didn't pull it up for some reason. Southern Company. Yeah. That was a little more volatile, it looks like.
Mhm.
Swings are a little bigger, but I think Hawaiian Electric was on the one of my scans. No, that's not right.
Yeah, ET. Pete in the Netherlands says ET. Yeah, that's one of the largest positions I have across the board in my portfolio, my dividend portfolio. Ticker
This one's about to break out. Look at this. This one got beat down in the crap that happened, the fire or whatever, back there in 23. But it might finally break out and run back up to 40.
What's the yield on that thing?
Let's see. Not paying a dividend right now. They cut the dividend when they had the problem.
Rebuild, that's expensive.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, one more XOM.
That one did. It's been pulling back a little bit. I told you it's going to pull back.
At the 157.50 puts I sold. It just broke down while we were on the show.
I told you this was gonna pull back.
Well,
There must have been some kind of let's make a deal.
I gotta do something today on this. I don't know if I want these.
I warned you, man. I told you it could come back. That
That's
was
the
loft.
that's the first time you've warned me, and I've stepped right into the fire. So
That was loft.
that was Loft E. Too much. I got called out at 126, and I've been pissed off ever since. So I've been trying to get back in, and now I'm
It's-
reaching.
You know, I've always been told all my life it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. So
I just let it get away from me.
True. I agree.
It has a whole new meaning when you have a baby too, Blake.
Tell me about it. She the other day we had her on the bed. We were getting ready to leave, and Avery's like, "Oh, just change her real quick." And then all of a sudden, boom! I was like, "I didn't think girls did that." No, they do. They do. So found that one out. Thought that was a boy thing. No, no.
Okay, well, you're out of my there. So what we got of the cash flow agent.
We got the cash flow agent, baby.
Talking about baby girls. I'm sorry, I get red old boys. But anyway,
Oh man.
cash flow agent is the best tool out there if you like making credit spread profit.